was a child, I didn't think much of the innkeeper. I mean, the audacity of the guy. Right before his face is a pleasant surprise. And as a child, I thought, this is the bad guy in the Christmas story, this innkeeper. I've changed my mind, however. I no longer see him as a bad guy, or think of it this way. It could be said that Mary and Joseph, after traveling 80 miles, had stopped by numerous places to find lodging. And yet this is the one guy that took the very best he had to offer, even if it was a carved-out cave according to church history, or a stable. He at least provided them the best he had to offer at the time. It reminds me of that pageant, the greatest pageant, where these children had not attended church very much, known as the Hardman children. They were known as rabble-rousers in town. They were quite troublemakers. However, at school they had heard that there was free meals available at this church, so the three of them decided to make their way to the church. That night, they were talking about the pageant that was to come forth. And the Hardman children decided they're going to be the ones that auditioned. And the rest of the kids in the church were so afraid of them that they dared not stand in opposition. So all three of them made the primary roles. Leroy is said to have been a little mentally challenged. He was the innkeeper. His brother was Joseph, and Mary, his sister. He had one line that he was supposed to recite in this pageant. I'm sorry, we have no room for you. He struggled with this. And so we have now the production of the night. It comes down to this one line, and he had been so overwhelmed by the power of this story. No longer were his brothers and his brothers and sisters, but in his mind's eye, they were Mary and Joseph in great need. And here it is, the opportunity he's been given. I'm sorry, we have no room, but you can come to my house. And some thought he had ruined it. What were they to do then with the manger and the shepherds? Others said, this is indeed the greatest pageant. Because he understood the seriousness of the nature of the request. I want to encourage you to make room. Make room for him this Christmas. I don't know how many times in the last couple of weeks I've been asked, are you ready for Christmas? And immediately I think of all the things that are yet to be done. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about making room. Look at your hands. Those hands are used all across this health system in making a magnificent difference. We've been given the greatest of technology, and you've been given the greatest of skill. But nothing surpasses the human touch. Make room this year for broader aspects of the human touch. Make room this year to enlarge your vision. See people beyond the surface. Sometimes you will see them as dirty and lonely. Go beyond that and see them as people of great need. Sometimes you'll be called on to take care of people that can no longer take care of themselves, the true vulnerable in our community. Enlarge your vision. See them at a deeper level. Enlarge your hearing. Hear their unique story. Do not see them as a patient that you had yesterday, or a patient that you have in the next room, or the next person that steps forward as the next person that steps forward for you to register. They have a unique story. Expand your hearing. Make room for a new set of ears and a new hearing. March the 3rd, 2008, my family's life changed forever. We were standing in great need when there was no hope. Many of you take care of people on OB, and it's a moment of celebration. And I want you to invite an enlargement of your feet to dance and celebrate when you are able to see the miracle of birth and the miracle of healing and the miracles that are before you. And others of you are standing at the bedside when you've been given the same message we were given. I'm sorry, but there's nothing more we can do. You need a new set of feet, don't you? Sometimes it gets weird. And I pray for you that in your journey, journey and in your path, you'll find new strength and new healing. I want to tell you what makes the difference. You make the difference. We were lifted by people. We were lifted by friends. We were lifted by employees. We were lifted by the prayer of a physician. We were lifted by the compassion of nurses. And when we left there, we were lifted by you. You make a difference. So are you ready for Christmas?
Yes.
I'm asking you to make room. To make room for Him that makes a difference in your life so that you can touch and make a difference in the lives of others. God has granted us meaningful work. Thanks be to Him that we have this opportunity to join